Welcome. Today, I want to talk about the anti-mammon mandate of the gospel of Jesus Christ and why I believe it leads, for me, to the necessity of anti-capitalism. The word mammon in the scriptures is simply something that means wealth. The word is only found in the sayings of Jesus in the New Testament, but the way that Christ describes mammon is in the same spirit of the first commandment, that we shall have no other God besides the Lord. Mammon is therefore presented by Christ as a rival god that must be rejected and hated by those who love God. Thus, it is far more than an ethical proclamation, even though that's often how we understand this either or. And we've missed the centrality of this point for the gospel because we do not recognize the connotations that would have been clear to Jesus' original Jewish audience. When Jesus said that we either serve God or mammon, he was making a rather profound declaration. In the words of Jose Miranda, the real rival to Yahweh is money. When we think about the gospel, therefore, we cannot overlook this rivalry. It is God or money. Jesus turns our relationship with money into a theological problem. It is not merely that we have to be careful about our greed and protect our hearts and maybe give from time to time. Of course, those are good things, but Jesus' point is much larger than that. I would argue that a central facet of Christ's gospel is this resistance against the systems of mammon, which makes the endless accumulation of wealth into an end unto itself, and therefore makes the goal of human life to be in service of money. And so resistance to that is central to the gospel. The gospel therefore needs to include this materialistic connotation, not because we have read back into the gospel some sort of political or economic idea, but rather that we are faithfully taking the words of Jesus against money and taking them seriously. Because with this saying, Jesus has perhaps made the most radical rebuke against money that's ever been spoken. The God of the universe has a rival among creation, and that rival is money. And Jesus is clear that there is no gray area here. It is an either-or decision. We either hate money and love God, or by loving money, we hate God. Thus, it is a theological issue that is intimately connected with the political and economic realms. So when I talk about anti-capitalism and the need to resist mammon for Christ's sake, it is not a needless politicalization of Christ's gospel. Rather, it is a faithful interpretation of the gospel for today. And it is this anti-mammon mandate from Christ that leads me to argue for anti-capitalism. There is no system but capitalism that has made the accumulation of money to be the chief end of human life. Capitalism is a system in which every economist's knee must bow and every stockbroker's tongue must confess that mammon is Lord. And therefore, it is a system that must be rejected and resisted wholeheartedly for the sake of Jesus Christ and the gospel. Thus, as I argue in my new book, All Riches Come from Injustice, that is the application of Christ's words for us today. I believe that the church must adopt an anti-capitalist political ethic in its public witness of the gospel, because it is essential to the good news itself. This anti-mammon mandate cannot exist any longer just as a secondary issue. It is central to the message that was and still is today good news to the poor. Now, I do expand this argument more fully in my book, but I wanted to make this short video kind of as a primer for why I think that the gospel leads necessarily to anti-capitalism today. It is this instance that Jesus says that God or money is a rival deity, and therefore the systems of mammon, which are most fully explained through capitalism, are in need of resistance for the sake of the gospel. And obviously, there's a lot more nuance within this, and I want to continue this conversation both through my book and other books I plan to work through, but also here on YouTube. So now, thank you so much for watching. I hope this short video has been thought-provoking and challenging to you, but let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a good day.